Today's lesson is on measurement again, and we are on lesson 16. We're talking about time. We've talked about the quarter hour. We've talked about minutes, and today's lesson is on elapsed. Elapsed. Ooh, there's an S in there. Elapsed time. What in the world is that? Elapsed time. Oh, I think that is how much time has passed. It's a really important way to measure time. If you take a look at this clock, you'll recognize this as the clock that's been in our classroom for some time. And the neat thing about this clock is that when the minute hand moves, the hour hand moves too. And I've been saying that all along, that hour hand does not stay in one place. And by the time the minute hand is halfway around, you'll notice the hour hand is halfway to the next hour. I'm going to keep on going with this clock. This is called a Judy clock, and I like it especially because the hour hand and the minute hand move together even though I'm not touching it. You can see those gears in that little window there. There's a red gear and a green gear. Well, we're going to talk about elapsed time, and we had a little story problem that goes like this. It was that Abby went to play outside. It was 3:05 when she started, and so the clock shows the hour of 3, and it's 5 minutes past. And she played until 3:25. Well, how much time elapsed or passed? When we talk about elapsed time, we're talking about two different times and how much time between the two. Elapsed time. Well, we can start where the minute hand was and count to where it stopped. It was at 3:05 and it stopped at 3:25. Well, if it started here, we can count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20. So the time that elapsed from the time Abby went out to play until she went back inside was 20 minutes. Well, we're going to take another look at that on the next page. And we've got two clocks here, and it's the same problem. And one more time, it was 3:05 when Abby went out to play, and when she was done, it was 3:25. On the clock on the right, it's just a little bit lighter, and on the clock on the left, here's the original time, and here is the time that she went in. And the time from one clock to the other, from the two different times, was the elapsed. Elapsed. That's a funny word. Elapsed time. And we said that we counted the time from when she started by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20. And so the elapsed time was 20 minutes. Elapsed time. We'll do another problem with elapsed time that has a greater span of time. We're going to set our Judy clock at 10:20, so I'll move that minute hand to 20 minutes after 10. And what happened was that, let's see, I think it was Will and Braden went down to the grocery store to pick up some groceries. They were going to surprise the class with a box of cookies, and they left at 10:20, and they didn't get back until 12:30. Well, how much time elapsed from 10:20 until 12:30? Well, I'm going to move the minute hand an hour ahead, and an hour ahead of 10:20. Oh, the minute hand went all the way around one time. That's 1 hour. Now it's 11:20. So I just counted the hours first. From 10 to 11, that was 1 hour. And it's going to go around again because it's 12:30 that they got back. Here's the hour of 12 o'clock. Oh, there's 12:20. I went around 2 times with the hour or minute hand, and that's 2 hours. And yet they didn't get back until 12:30. So now I have to count the minutes past those 2 hours. And we count by fives, and it's 5, 10. So it was 2 hours and 10 minutes that elapsed from the time they left until they got back. Here we have our two clocks that show the two times. This one was starting at 10:20 and they got back at 12:30. We want to know how long were they gone? How much time has elapsed? Well, if we look at our hour hand first, and let's look at that clock on the right-hand side. It started here about 10, maybe just a little bit past 10, and then it moved this direction. Well, and we want to count how many hours, and we're moving the hour hand, so then each time it goes from one number to another, it's 1 hour. That would be 1 hour and then 2 hours. And if we look at the minute hand, I'm looking again at the left-hand clock, it started at the 4, and at the right-hand clock, the time that elapsed, it ended at a 6. And if we count the minutes, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or we could count by fives. There's 5, 10. 10 minutes plus the 2 hours is 2 hours and 10 minutes that elapsed. We're going to practice now with elapsed time, and the question will be the same for each set of clocks, but the times will change. And we're starting with this one where both clocks say 3:30, and the question is, what time will it be in 15 minutes? I'm going to leave the clock on the right side just as it is. That's the start time, and I'm going to change the clock on the right. 15 minutes past where it started, so there's 5, 10, 15. How much or what time will it be in 15 minutes? Our elapsed time is 15 minutes. And what time will it be? It started at 3:30. And if I look at how much or what time it will be in 15 minutes, we can see that it's going to be 3:45. Perhaps some of you jotted that down as you were looking at it. Why don't you do that? You can push pause in between the questions to see if you, in fact, can get the answers before you hear what they are. I'm going to set up another clock here. What time will it be in 15 minutes? Both clocks right now have the same time. If you would like to push pause to figure out what time it will be in 15 minutes, do that now. I'm going to go on and figure out what time it's going to be in 15 minutes. I'm going to move this hand 15 minutes ahead, and I'm going to start counting by fives. Since it's already pointing to the 1, I'll count starting on 2 because there's 5 minutes between there. 5, 10, 15. Okay, and now I'm going to move that minute hand 15 minutes ahead. It was 10:05. 15 minutes elapsed, and now the time is 10:20. Give yourself a pat on the back if you got that one correct. New clocks and a new question. What time will it be in 2 hours? I'm going to only move the hour hand because the minutes don't change. It just is saying what time will it be in 2 hours. Let's see if I can get that hour hand. There's 1 hour. There's 2 hours. What time will it be in 2 hours? I'm going to put that back where it was. That was my starting time. I'm going to go to that clock on the right-hand side and do that one. What time will it be in 2 hours? 1, 2. Well, push pause and see if you can come up with the answers. We started with 6:30, and 2 hours later will be 8:30. 2 new clocks. What time will it be in 2 hours? Push pause. Our clocks have been adjusted, but so has our question. What time will it be in 1 hour and 20 minutes? Oh, now I have to change the hour and the minutes. I'll leave the clock on the left just as it is, and I'll move the clock on the right. Let's start with the hour first of all. It was the hour of 1 o'clock, not exactly on 1, but just a bit past, so we'll go ahead 1 hour with the 2, and then 20 more minutes. So now I'll also have to move that minute hand ahead 20. And I know if I move from one number to the next, it's 5-minute increments. I'm counting by fives. So here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20. And the time will be in 1 hour and 15 minutes is the clock displayed at the right. What time is it? Well, let's see. The clock on the right was 1:10. The clock on the left, whoops, I said that backwards. The clock on the left, that's this one, Mr. F. Remember that. Left. Okay, yeah, left. The clock on the left is 1:10. The clock on the right is 2:30. Let's do one more. With these clocks, what time will it be in 1 hour and 20 minutes? I'm going to go to my clock on the right and move the hour hand ahead 1 hour. It is just a bit after the 8, so now I have to go a bit after the 9. And then I have to move the minute hand 20 minutes. Let's see, I'm going to move that 20 minutes. Better get the right thing first. And counting by fives, 5, 10, 15, 20. What time will it be? Well, we started off and the time was, let's see, between the hour of 8 and 9, so it's the hour of 8, and how many minutes past 8? 8:35. And now, an hour and 20 minutes later, it's between the hours and 10. It's not 10 yet, so it's 9. The hour of 9, and, ooh, there's a lot of minutes past 9. I know this is 9:45. I always remember that one, and I can count on from fives. 50, 55. Oh, 9:55. So the time will be in 1 hour and 20 minutes. If it starts at 8:35, it's going to be 9:55. Now we've got a little bit different problem to work on. It says find the elapsed time. Remember, elapsed time is the amount of time between two given times. And we're going to set up one clock on the left to be the top time, 6:05. So let me get that ready. I'm moving the hour hand to the hour of 6 and the minute hand to be 5 minutes after the hour. That is 6:05. And then the time that it elapsed to is 6:25. Let me get the hour of 6 handy. There we got 6 o'clock, and it says 6:25. And I know that this would say 6:25. And then we have to say how much time has elapsed from the first clock to the second clock. So we're measuring how much time has elapsed. And let's see, the minute hand is there, and we go this far, and counting by fives, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes has elapsed. 20 minutes. Make sure that we put our label on there, and we have been doing a really good job with keeping our papers looking neat and precise. Let's do one more of those, finding the elapsed time. On these two clocks, we're looking at 7:10, and it then ended up at 7:40. How much time has elapsed? I can measure from where the minute hand was on the right side. It was pointing to the 2, so I'm just going to mark there. And now the minute hand has moved up to the 8. The hour hand hasn't moved that much. We're not working with hours yet. We're still within the same hour. There's still 7 o'clock. We're looking at how much time has elapsed from 7:10 to 7:40, and we count by fives from the 2 and to the 8. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 30 minutes has elapsed. Now that we've completed our lesson, let's take a look at the worksheet that you'll be working on. This is page 107 from your worksheet, and it is from your textbook on page 290 and 291 if you want to refer back to those pages for some additional practice or maybe some more explanation. Our lesson, of course, was on elapsed time, and we remember that elapsed time is how much time between two times. And on the top here is some more information and some examples and ways that you can count elapsed time. You can skip count ahead minutes by 5 or 10, or you can count the hours by ones first if you need to do that. Here are our first set of instructions. What time will it be in 20 minutes if it is now 2:10? You add 20 minutes to that. It would be helpful if you had a little clock to work with. And the next set of instructions, what time will it be in 3 hours? They give you this time, add 3 hours to that. Next instruction, what time will it be in 2 hours, 15 minutes? They give you an original time. You have to add some hours and minutes to that time. Then 10, 11, and 12 is find elapsed time. They give you 2 times and how much time has elapsed between those. Problem number 13 and 14 is our problem solving for the day, and it's going to be using this schedule of bus stops over here. If I take a look at the schedule, first of all, it would be a good idea just to read. Oh, I've got all these names here: Bolton, Rockdale, North Orange, South Orange, Lakeland, Libertad, Grove City. Oh, if I get on a bus, it must mean that it stops at these times in those places. And maybe those aren't actually cities, maybe they're just street names. And if I had a job and it was on or in Grove City, and I left and maybe it arrived at 4:45, my job starts at 4 o'clock, well, I can tell I'm not going to be able to get to work on time. So it's important to be able to read a bus schedule. There's some days that you probably will be in a large city, and you'll want to be able to figure out how to use those schedules. And here are some good practice for that. Anyway, here's a question for us, number 13. How long does it take to go from Lakeland to Grove City? Oh, well, I just read this bus schedule over here, and I know that Lakeland is here and Grove City is there. Oh, here's practice in elapsed time. They said 3:20. So I'm going to jot that down in my notes or on another piece of paper. And at Grove City was 4:45. How much time has elapsed? Well, you're going to look at the hours first and figure that out. How much time has elapsed from from the hour of 3 to the hour of 4, and then look at the minutes next, and you can count by fives from 20 minutes after 3 until you get to the 45 minutes after. And you'll figure out then how long it took to go from Lakeland to Grove City. And the last story problem of the day, let's look at that one before we close. Between what 2 places? Oh, well, then they are going to ask for names here. What places? These are all the places over here, and they want you to tell 2 places. Let's read the question further. Between what 2 places will the passengers be at 2:30 p.m.? Oh, so if I'm looking at my watch, and I can, whoops, I touched something here and get rid of that, and my watch says 2:30, then I know that, okay, I'm going to be not here, and I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be between one of these, or between 2 of these places. So good luck with your assignment on elapsed time. Make sure to keep on doing neat and precise work.